What's up, guys? Welcome back to A Shot of Business Central and a Beer, the podcast that is all about Microsoft's most popular ERP software, Business Central. Today's episode is our Thanksgiving special. So after we talk about the latest Business Central news, chat with Ryan McBee from iSolutions, and take a look at onboarding help in Business Central, we're going to tell you some of the things that we're thankful for. So as always, I'm joined by Mr. Ken Sebahar. Ken, how's it going? Good. How about you?
Doing very well.
Yeah.
Excited about talking about the iSolutions product today. Credit card. I call it it's credit card management inside Business Central Plus.
Plus.
Right.
got
So
that little
you
extra
got to
touch.
stay tuned to see what is the plus. And also a discussion about onboarding. We'll talk about some of the tools that are available to help get you started inside Business Central, and our thoughts in general on the onboarding process.
Okay.
To getting going in Business Central.
All right.
So, and of course, like always, a shot. So some news that we'll go through as well.
Yep.
So first, I'd like to say thank you for bringing in the beer today.
No problem.
What are we drinking?
We are drinking something by Abita Brewing. I hope I'm saying that right. It is a pecan. I say pecan. Maybe some people say pecan.
Pecan.
Could be pecan. Yeah. Pecan ale. So a little interesting. Hopefully it's better than the beer we had last month that I didn't like. That you kind of liked.
I just poured it. It looks like a nutty brown ale.
It does. It's not really too dark, right? It's got some color to it.
A little bit. I wouldn't say it's a light beer.
Yeah.
But it's not certainly not like a stout, like a dark black. More like like a brown ale, almost kind of like that porter that we had last.
You can see through it a little bit.
But definitely malty, nutty kind of smell.
Yes,
right?
I'm actually getting that.
Do you think it's the pecans?
It might be. The only thing when you get these flavored beers like this and you go to taste it, it's never what you think it is. So here we go.
Yeah, nutty brown ale.
Yeah.
It's a very
taste is a little bit different, right?
It is a very fall-like beer. It is a seasonal beer. Looking at the Abita website, it's, by the way, they're in Louisiana. A little bit surprised that they're running this up here in Chicago area, but it's good. It is a seasonal beer available in September and October, and I guess November.
It's true. Yeah, it is November. So a little bit about the Abita Brewing Company. They're 30 miles north of New Orleans, and in its first year, the brewery produced 1,500 barrels of beer, and their beer was so popular that by 1994 they outgrew the original site, and they now have a 100-seat brew pub, which is pretty big, I would imagine. They brew more than 125,000 barrels of beer. And they brew 13,500 barrels of soda as well in their state-of-the-art brewing facility. Had I known that, I would have looked for a soda that they make. I would say like a cream soda might go well with this.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, definitely a very fall-like beer.
Yeah, not strong. 5.2% alcohol.
Yeah, very drinkable.
Yeah,
kind of right in the middle of the road. And I think Beer Advocate, it agrees with that, right? Because as you noticed, there's not a lot of hostility out on Beer Advocate for this beer. It's so I am sorry. I think I may be disappointing some people if there's people who like hearing like about these crazy
I love it.
Feedbacks on Beer Advocate, but there aren't many.
This might be the first beer that we've
everyone's kind of like, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's
nutty brown ale.
It's just good. Yeah.
Yep. I did find one that this was interesting, and as an Italian American, you may appreciate this. This is from McBee from Georgia. I cook with beer quite often. I made spaghetti sauce with this beer. It gave it a distinct flavor and was very good.
I bet it did.
So, can you see cooking? Do you ever put alcohol in spaghetti sauce?
Well, yeah, the occasional wine.
Like red wine or something?
Not beer. Never beer.
Yeah.
Beer is reserved for like maybe chicken.
Yeah,
You know what I
there you
mean? Not beer. So
go. The old beer can chicken,
yeah, and you might get shot in my family for that.
right? I see you pouring a can of beer or bottle of beer in there.
Yeah. But yeah, not too bad. I don't get a pecan nuttiness though. I get a nuttiness flavor and smell, but I don't get pecans. Do you?
No, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just general nuttiness.
Maybe need a little bit more.
I guess this one was good. I guess this about sums it up. This guy, whatever his name is here, I can't even say it. This is overall good.
That's it.
Just good.
Yeah, not great, not bad, just good.
Yep, that's funny.
I just wish from drinking more and more beers and different kinds. I tend to be disappointed, like when something says pecan ale, you don't really get the flavor of what they say.
Right.
You know, maybe it's hard because you want to keep the beer flavor, but I thought to myself when I picked it out, like pecans and beer might be pretty good. You know what I mean?
I guess, but they're like that's just because we're not very good at this.
Yeah.
Probably, right? Like I'm sure there's someone out there like like some head brewers or whatever.
Yeah.
They would take a sip of this and go, "Oh yeah, oh pecans.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting pecans." Like, and we're like, kind of nutty.
But who's there?
Malty.
Who's the buyer? Right.
Right,
Most people like us.
Correct. Yeah. So you want stronger flavors, like
A little
on these
bit.
flavor, like
Not overpowering.
yeah. You say a
beer.
pecan, you want to taste the pecan in there. Or
Exactly,
A
yeah.
pumpkin spice, you want to taste that spice.
Yes, just a hint of it though. I don't want it to be overpowering where it doesn't taste like beer anymore. You know, like kind of like if you ever had that beer, not your dad's root beer,
Yes.
tastes just like root beer.
Yes.
No beer taste at all. I like root beer. So
Yeah. There's not that. Yeah.
But-
Not just a subtle hint of root beer.
Yes.
Yeah.
It just takes it over. So
Yeah.
All right. On to the next segment, which is we'll be doing a shot of Business Central, everybody.
All right.
Stick around. What's up, everybody? We're back for the shot of Business Central. We got some great news today. Really looking forward to hear what's going on. There's been the 19.0 update. Did I say it again?
What's 19.0?
Yeah, 19.0 is
2021 wave 2.
2021 Wave 2 Business Central update.
Live.
Finally starting to roll out. Might not be live for everybody.
Yeah.
It's live for some people.
Yep.
I don't know what the end date is. It's probably all through the month of November.
Yeah. I started rolling out earlier in November, and I think a lot of environments are now updated to version 19. Hopefully, if you're running BC online, you're getting the emails. You've signed up for notifications so that you know when it's coming and then when it's been done successfully.
Yep.
So a lot of them.
Successful or relative term.
Yep. And you can also schedule, right? So you do have the ability to go into your admin center and schedule when you want the upgrade to take place, when you want them to schedule it. So just as a reminder, right? Especially these major releases, right? There's the minor monthly updates typically go in really smooth.
Yes.
Not a lot of reaction, but every once in a while there are some things with these major releases that come out twice a year, where there may be some more greater impact.
Have you seen more with this one than in?
Yeah. So
years past?
we have seen more tenants or environments that have not been able to be successfully upgraded to 2021 Wave 2. Usually it's because of some incompatibility with an app or an extension that you have put in there. And like, so for example, and I believe this is due to some changes under the hood that Microsoft has put in place in terms of like the development environment and how extensions are published. So for example, we have an extension here. It was a sales quote layout. So basically a report change where this caused an environment to fail. And the message, if you get into the details of it, what it tells you is that a table temp blob has been removed and it's been replaced by a blob storage module, tag 19.0. And then something about this record does not contain a definition for more text lines or does not contain a definition for read text line. So I think what they've done is they've added some parameters in there that maybe will be beneficial for things down the road or give you more functionality. But when the original extension was built in 18, it didn't exist. It doesn't like that it's blank. So now you have to go in, revise your extension, publish it, and then reschedule your upgrade.
So maybe this is going to be more common with Microsoft since, they recently introduced the ability to what is it? Fire up Sandbox, load your extensions into a sandbox and whatnot, your apps, and test it before you actually go live with it.
Correct.
So maybe Microsoft is thinking this might be more prevalent in the future. Maybe it's the way to go to actually test it in the sandbox.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they'll continue to evolve the product and add variables and features and functions and things that need values or whatever under the hood. But to your point, yes, you can go in, you can create a copy of your production environment in the new upcoming preview environment to see if you have any compatibility issues.
Right.
It doesn't really matter. I mean, if Microsoft attempts to upgrade your environment and it fails, you get a message that it failed. You can go resolve those issues if it takes you a few days or whatever.
Nothing is shut down.
No, and then you reschedule your upgrade for the next day, and it attempts to do it again.
Yeah.
And if
I think though, at some point though, it'll force through the upgrade after 60 days.
We looked at that a couple months ago. Nah, I thought it was like 6 months.
Is it something longer?
But
at some point.
There is a point in time, yes, where if you fail to address compatibility issues that you don't resolve, it will eventually upgrade it and uninstall the extension.
Yeah. So you could. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you might run into a problem.
But it's like 6 months or a year, or you have a long lead time. But if you aren't getting these email notifications,
you would know.
You don't even know that Microsoft is trying to upgrade your environment.
Yeah.
So you do need to make sure that you're on in the admin center. You've set up multiple people within your organization to get notifications about BC updates.
Yeah. So speaking of 19.0 updates. As with all other updates, sometimes things are a little bit different in Business Central that they don't mention, in the release notes or whatnot. And one of the things that I noticed right off the bat is on the user page, the Get New Users from Office 365 option is no longer available. So it used to be you had Get New Users from Office 365 as an option under the action section on the ribbon, and then you also had Update Users from Office 365. So update users was pretty much if you made any, you changed somebody from like a global admin to a regular admin or whatnot, it would factor in that. And then Get New Users actually brought new users added to Office 365 into Business Central. Now it's all under one. Update users from Office 365. So a little simpler, but if you don't know what's there, you might pull your hair out for 5-6 minutes looking for it. I know that you had recently had an experience with something like that.
I pulled some of my hair out. Yeah, I did.
I tried.
And I was in Business Central. Ironically, it was the day after the new release came out. Obviously, we've sat down, we've read through the release notes published by Microsoft. I've reviewed stuff. I've gone into a preview. I've looked at new features and functions and gone through the list of specific changes that are out there. And yet,
there was something there that wasn't there.
I was surprised. Yeah. So public service announcement. The open in Excel and edit in Excel functions. It used to be, let's say you were sitting on a list page. Up on the top on the ribbon, you had a page button, and under page you can hit open in Excel or edit in Excel.
Yeah.
They've changed that. That page button is no longer, drop down menu is no longer on the ribbon.
Yeah.
Instead, there is a new button up by the filter. It's immediately
it's a share icon.
To the left of the filter. It's called share. Share this page with other users or apps is the message that pops up when you hover over it. And if you click on it, you get the option to open in Excel, edit in Excel, or share to Teams.
It's funny. It's a pretty big difference. I mean, even though it's just open in Excel or whatever, but if they move it and it's not on the ribbon anywhere, you might have a hard time. I mean, who thinks to hover over icons, to find it? So
so I actually found this the harder way, which was I got frustrated, and then I just said, you know what, I'm going to click on the magnifying glass, the search button, and I'm just going to type in Excel and see what happens. And actually, if you do that, it opens open in Excel or edit in Excel. And if you click on it, it does that function. It takes your list page data and it launches Excel the same way.
Page.
Yes.
Wow.
Even though you're going up to the search button and it's kind of like you're going somewhere else.
Right.
But it knows, no, okay, based on the current page I'm sitting on. So
I'd like to know if that's new or if that's actually been there for a little while and just nobody's ever tried it.
That's a good question. Why? Yeah, because you have the page button right there.
Had to,
right? So you would never think to do that. But yeah, and I'm kind of looking over there, and it's kind of like they're doing all page simplification, right? It was a button, on the thing, and I would bet that moving it to this new little button over on the side makes it probably easier for them to universally adapt that than having a drop down button on the page, right? Less maintenance.
Yeah. Maybe
however,
it up too. Who knows?
There's starting to get to be a lot of buttons over there. You've got your bookmark, where you can bookmark a page to add it to your menu. You've got the wide layout view, where you can expand a page. You've got your information fact box pane that you can open up. You've got your view layout options button, filters, now the share button, and then right above you is the unpinned navigation bar menu, right? So it's starting to look like a little old school Excel ribbon up there a little bit.
Yeah. It's one of the good and bad things, I guess, of having a lot of features.
Right.
Gotta have a place to put them.
That's right. Make sure people see them and know that they're there. So I think this is just one of those things. I'm not complaining. I think it's just
it's different.
It's different.
Yeah.
Now I will just as easily go to this new share button and hit that.
Yeah.
It was just that it had been moved, and nothing I had seen
said it was going to get
indicated that
so
was
going to
going
use
away.
it. You don't know.
Right. So
not bad. All right. Anything else you want to share about specifically with Business Central?
I do, yeah. So one other thing here on November 18th, Thursday, there was a Microsoft outage. So people using Business Central Online may have experienced an outage. It actually, specifically was not an outage of Business Central.
Right.
It was an outage with the authentication
for Microsoft Cloud products.
Right. So
most likely everything.
Yeah. So some update that got applied to the authentication environment had caused an issue, and it resulted in users not able to access Business Central. Yeah. And you pointed out to me how I could identify that as an issue. So how did
tabs on it?
Yeah. How did we go to find out?
What you want to do is
learn about outages.
Yeah. So if you're a global admin, you can go to your Microsoft 365 Admin Center, and then at the top you can just simply search for like Service Health. And once you search for Service Health, you'll see the option to click Service Health dashboard. Click it, and it shows you all the different outages for the different products and whatnot. And then it'll keep you updated as time goes along. But it's funny because I think the last issue that Microsoft had was also due to authentication, right, for outages. So hopefully it's nothing too bad, and everybody can just get on with their lives and not have to worry about any type of breach or whatnot.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty detailed. They follow it up with multiple messages every once in a while throughout the day. And then the final status, we corrected the identified network configuration issue to restore traffic flow.
Yeah.
Okay. So
definitely helpful. Sometimes it's hard to.
I'm sure it doesn't.
The updates.
Yeah, and I'm sure that does not help people. And actually, I'm wondering
if you can actually see it.
Can you get to that health admin center?
I was
You were able to authenticate and log in and get to there? Okay.
Yeah. But if it
That would have been
affects,
ironic, right?
yeah. But if it affects everything globally, I mean, without a doubt, now where it's just some people,
Yeah.
no, you're not.
Yeah.
Then you got to go back to the old school phone.
Yeah.
As long as you're not, hooked up.
Good
to
luck.
Microsoft
Good luck
thing.
with that.
All right.
I mean, I don't know when the last time I called someone and they picked up the phone was. Even my wife doesn't take my calls.
The good news is Solution Systems answers the phone
Every time at the help desk. That's right. There you go.
One other thing I want to touch on is AppSource again, and there's a product out there that we've experienced a little bit of issues with. Nothing too crazy, but just want to let people know that it's very important, I guess is the word, for people to talk with their partner, make sure that the app that they're using connects to Business Central, and look at the reviews, look at the ratings and whatnot. Sometimes there may be some issues. We recently dealt with somebody who, after 7 months, the app said, "Well, our connection for Business Central isn't working. We have to suspend it."
Right.
Which is,
yeah, there are major issues. We don't know when we're going to have a resolution for this. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Right. So
what I did is I wrote down a couple ways that Microsoft or people could fix this, and you tell me what you think.
Okay.
First, each app has a provision where it can't charge money until 5 partners or people have reviewed the app and verified it works.
Ooh.
Okay. Next, each app must contain a demo video of their solution working within Business Central. I went on some different apps, and not a lot of them actually have demo videos of their product working in Business Central. So, if you publish a faulty app to AppSource, your account is suspended, meaning nobody can download your apps and you can't upload another app for 1 month. Yeah, I'm not saying these are all great. We're just throwing them out there.
Yeah.
When adding an app to AppSource, you're charged a security deposit. Once your app is discovered not to work after you publish it to AppSource, you get 1 week to fix it. After that, you do not get your security deposit back. Otherwise, security deposits will be refunded after 1 year.
Okay.
Interesting. Last but not least, Microsoft hires a bunch of guys with funny nicknames like Anthony Apps and Crazy BC Benny to pay a visit to your organization and have a talk with you.
Okay. I thought you were going for prison time.
Yeah, prison time. Yeah, exactly. No, I just threw it out there brainstorming, but
I do like the idea of the demo videos. I mean, I think that's
that's obviously
critical. Although, I don't know. I mean, there are certain products that maybe have integrations where where they have actually have a demo mode. So you can set it to demo mode, and then it just does like a fake or temporary type transaction or something to get it to work. So you may be able to circumvent that. I do like the idea of the reviews
until you get 5 reviews.
Although
I think that's the most important thing, right?
Although it's like anything. I hate for someone to be forcing anything right on someone. So what I would tell people is if there's an app out there and there's no reviews, that may mean something, right? I mean, maybe it doesn't. Maybe that's not a big deal, but to me, it's a red flag, right? Is this a brand new app? Has it been deployed? Is anyone using it? It could be actually an app that's been around for a long time that just got published onto AppSource, but it's been used by companies as an extension, for example, for years or something. So
I think the moral is, right, the Business Central community and the customers and the users, it's important to rate the apps and leave reviews.
Yeah.
Right. Even if you like it, if you really like it, I mean, I know how hard it is. If you like it, nobody wants to leave a review, but it's important. You know what I mean? Might not be important for you now, but when you go for your next app, it might be.
Right. And leave detailed feedback too, hey, you know what? We installed it. It was really great. We kind of struggled a little bit with doing this, but once we got that going, it worked really well. And then, by the way, if you're also using this, be aware that it may not work with that well. Like, so I think the more details, right?
We talked to so-and-so, they're really good with their customer service.
Yeah, the more feedback and more criteria you can give that's helpful for other people, the better.
Completely agree. All right. We got up next. Oh man.
Onboarding.
Onboarding. Are we talking about onboarding? I can't wait.
Oh, I love onboarding.
Back for the featured segment, we're talking about onboarding tips and tricks, I guess. Onboarding features, a whole bunch of different things. So, Ken, I've been in the game long enough to remember when Business Central was called Project Madura. And back then, one of the features that they talked about was allowing partners. Yeah, I've been in the game that long. And one of the features back then that Microsoft actually talked about that I thought was actually pretty cool was where partners could actually add something to the welcome portion. It wasn't called a welcome banner back then, but the welcome portion on the Role Center.
Yeah.
Or they could add a message or whatnot. Well, it seems now that might have come to fruition. We can actually do a couple of those things. And, so the welcome banner now on the Role Center, it actually, it does exactly that. It welcomes users to Business Central. And it's supposed to provide like a clear call to action and maybe have a checklist on it or whatnot so that, users can start certain tasks and finish that the partner thinks that they need to do or that the partner wants them to do. So on this welcome banner, you're going to see a checklist that can be, customized through AL code, which I wasn't a fan of because I couldn't get in there really and test it out.
Right.
But so with the code, it points to the records in the guided experience item table. And, so for example, if you want to have a checklist, item that reads, listen to the latest episode of A Shot in Business Central. Right?
Smart.
With that.
Smart.
Yeah. You got to actually go and create a learn record in the guided experience item table that will point you to a URL. From there, you can go into the checklist administration page and then set your guided experience types to line it up and add it to the actual welcome banner. So forgive me, if I'm a tad bit wrong with explaining the developer part of this.
So it sounds like what I'm hearing is that partners or app developers can extend that standard messaging.
Yes,
right.
You can customize it.
Notifications and banners and things can be tailored to add your own tips and suggestions and instructions.
Right. So if you've got something that you want every customer to know, you can create a generic extension for, to add it to the welcome banner for every new customer you see to have it. Or, if you want to get more personal and take more time, you can do it for each individual customer.
Yeah, like a good example that I've seen is if you start with a brand new clean Business Central company, and you open up the customer list page, you get a little notification up on the banner, and it says, "We noticed you don't have any customers. Would you like to import them now?" And you can click on a link, and it will take you to a page where you can work on a template and import customers.
So that's actually
that type of thing, right?
Right. So stuff like that's fairly like they have teaching tips now. They have spotlight tours. They have tours. So when you're on the actual Business Central page, every now and then you might see in the bottom left-hand corner a tip come up that says, I don't know. It maybe tells you about how to add additional users or whatever it is, like you were saying.
Yep.
So it might be in the bottom left-hand corner. There might be a teaching tip in the top that tells you, something else that teaches you whatever. So those are all new things. Now, some of those can't be customized. I think the tour right now currently can only be added by Microsoft, but they're considering giving people who do AL code power to actually edit these.
Yep.
But, so within these, you can link to videos, application features, manual setups, the assisted setups, whatever it may be. So it's not too bad. I think that, to me, and I know you disagree with me, these are more like the finishing onboarding things, right? Because I think that these are the easiest things that you could actually do and probably should be done last, but I'm not, somebody who handles implementation or whatnot. You're actually saying it's probably some of the first things you should do, right?
Well, I think that if you're doing it for an app, or you're doing it as a partner, right, to provide instructions to people, it possibly could be the finishing touches at the end. If you are just beginning your implementation of Business Central, this is the beginning of the road. These are the first few steps you're taking.
All right.
It is far from the finishing touches, right? Now, but take example of an app, right? You've created an app. You can, right, as an app developer, you can set it up so that when you install the app, you can populate certain tables with data, or have an assisted setup tool that they run through, and it sets up stuff and configures stuff. Okay. And then as a last step, when they open the customer page or some page, it gives them a tip on, oh, hey, now that you've got this all set, here's a little tip for you. You can now click here and do this.
Yeah, gotcha.
Right. So that, in that regard,
that makes sense.
But in terms of general onboarding, I think of onboarding a new client onto Business Central. New company is implementing Business Central.
Yeah.
These things are all nice. Teaching tips, right? You mentioned, little box pops up and shows you something, and you can see it.
To me, those should be implemented, I guess, after it's up and running, and because you're for the end users, because you're in there using it, and then the teaching tip pops up.
Yeah. Now, and if you are using Business Central and you're getting teaching tips and you don't like them, you can go into My Settings and you can turn off teaching tips.
Really?
Which is the first thing I did after about 30 minutes of using Business Central.
But you're also a guru of Business Central.
Well, I have used it before.
Yeah, exactly.
But my point, there is a little toggle where you can turn off teaching tips. And I think you then have to close and reopen, and it makes that change.
All right. So when you hear the word onboarding, what do you kind of think of? Is it like a data migration thing, or is it?
Well, that's part of it. Yeah. So when I think of onboarding someone on a new company onto Business Central, I think about more like what's available on the Rapid Start Role Center page. So one of the profiles that you can pick that's out of the box is called Rapid Start. That is designed for implementation. And there's a few things that are on here that are very helpful. Up on the top, on the ribbon, you have a worksheet. The worksheet kind of organizes your master data. So for example, master data, you have customers, items, vendors, chart of accounts. Then you have some setup tables, general ledger setup, sales and receivables setup, inventory setup. Then you get into all your posting groups. Then you get into sales tax, maybe. Then you get into payment methods and payment terms, right? So there's this worksheet is a way that you can view, and you can also edit it. You can delete things maybe you're not using. You can add things you are using. You can also assign a responsible user to complete it and track a status. So you could say, here's we need to set up our posting groups here, and the status of this is in progress or completed or ignored or blocked, and who's responsible for it. You also have access to the list of all the tables in the database and the number of records in there. There are packages, access to your configuration packages, import and export tools using Excel to migrate your data. And those are things like importing customers, importing vendors, items.
Is this something generally that customers or end users, what are you going to call them, do by themselves, or is this something they do in conjunction with their partner? Or does it just depend on the customer?
Yeah. So the first thing I would tell you, unless the Rapid Start Role Center is the default role center for a new user, when you set them up in a new instance or new environment of Business Central,
not, right?
I don't know how in the hell a user would know that this Rapid Start Role Center exists.
Teaching tip, try out the roll center.
Custom teaching tip. There you go.
Try out the different experiences.
Right. Yeah. In terms of onboarding, you're starting, there are all of these great tools, right? These are things that are here that weren't here 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that every partner had to come up with a way to manage these. An Excel spreadsheet, a set of data ports that they had created that they could reuse. And by the way, Mr. Customer, you've got to have your customers in this exact format.
Yeah.
And then we can import them using our data ports that we've developed. Now with configuration packages, you can go in and you can pick which columns or which data fields you want to include, what order those are going to be in, export your template, copy and paste your data, and import it, right?
Nice.
There's also templates, setup templates. So once you get your customers, or if let's say you're going to be manually setting up your vendors because you only have 70 vendors, and you're like, I'm just going to manually key them in, and that way I can clean up the data.
Okay.
We can set up a vendor template that fills in most of these fields for you. So all you really need to fill in is their name, address, contact, email, phone number.
Pretty big.
And all the posting groups, payment terms, codes, payment methods, all that
gets brought in.
Fills in automatically for you.
Nice.
Again, now a typical end user organization who just goes out to Business Central, gets their own license and thinks they're going to do all of this and know how to fill in all these fields.
Not going to happen.
0% chance.
Yeah.
Sorry. Now, am I saying that you need to be heavily reliant on a Microsoft partner to get this system up and running? No.
Just need some guidance.
By no means, but you need some guidance, right? Imagine, here's the analogy, right? If I put you in a room, I put a blindfold on you, and I spin you around a bunch of times on your own, and I give you one chance to get to the door, but you've got a blindfold on. What are the odds that you're going to walk directly towards that door? Is it possible? Yes.
Yeah.
But what are the odds are stacked against you?
Got to have luck on your side.
Now, with a Business Central partner in your corner, right? I'm blending analogies.
Yeah.
Right? That partner can point you in the right direction, right? So now you have a much better chance, a significantly better chance that you're going to be able to walk straight and hit that door.
It's a great analogy because there's a lot of people who think that they can do it themselves.
Right.
They don't need help from anybody. We got this.
Now, some people will want their partner not just to push them in the right direction, but maybe hold their hand and walk them to the doorway.
Yeah.
Okay, that's more of a white glove service, like full service implementation plan, and that actually, I mean, that's still probably something most companies need. Yeah. But we're seeing more and more companies out there now that with just some general guidance and consulting from a company, a partner, with all of these onboarding tools that exist, it's significantly easier and faster to get Business Central deployed.
Yeah.
Right.
Still needs some help though. Yes.
Yeah. I hope you like my analogy.
I love the analogy. I think that we will definitely clip it in this podcast and put that out as its own little soundbite.
Yeah.
It's a great analogy because it makes complete sense.
Yeah. So you need a partner in your corner, kind of making sure you're marching in the right direction. Right. And at different point, not the whole way even, right? It could be at different points. Hey, we got to this point and we're struggling with this.
Right.
Can you help us? Are we on the right road here? Yeah. Are we thinking this through correctly, or do we need to rethink what we're trying to accomplish here and move in a different direction?
What would you say the percentages of people who come in and are like, we can set this all up 100% by ourselves. We don't need your help. What would you say the percentages that they fail? It's 100%.
That think they can do that?
100%.
It's higher than it should be. I don't know what the number. Not the majority. The majority of people understand. I mean, it's a mid-market, robust ERP solution, right? Manufacturing,
Well,
MRP,
when you get into that, they know.
advanced warehouse managing with directed pick and put away capabilities,
Sure.
right? Full inventory management, financials, online
They have an
banking.
understanding. They know.
There's a lot here. This is not QuickBooks, right? I'll just say it.
Very true. Or GP.
You know, if you think you need to be running on QuickBooks, then stick with QuickBooks, right? This is significantly more powerful, more feature rich, and you can grow a much larger business running Business Central.
Any other tips for onboarding or anything else you can think of that makes up that you like to discuss with onboarding?
No, those are the key things. I think, I think we covered the fact that there are, I guess the key thing is, be aware that there are these onboarding tools out there. There's also assisted setup. We missed that. Assisted setup is a page in Business Central. There's several features such as like Power BI integration where they may not be enabled out of the box. So you go into the assisted setup page, you can go, oh yeah, I want to enable this feature. And you click on it and then you hit next, answer a few questions, maybe fill in a few fields, and now it helps you enable that feature. So
nice.
That's come a long way. It's come a long way, and it's certainly made implementers of whether you're an internal implementer at a company or working with a partner that's helping a company, tons of tools to help people be more successful and do it more efficiently and faster. But still, I don't believe that you'll ever be able to do it without at least a little bit of guidance from someone who has a really solid understanding of how this works.
Makes complete sense. All right, welcome everybody to the Shot of Business Central. I guess I don't call it the feature segment, but special app segment. Today we're joined by Ryan McBee from iSolutions. How's it going, Ryan? How you doing?
Hey, pretty good. How are you?
Not too bad. Where we're at, it's getting a little bit colder, so it's not as much fun as it used to be, but
yeah,
such is life. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe how iSolutions came to be and whatnot?
Yeah, for sure. I'm Ryan from iSolutions. I'm the owner. Me personally, I live here in Indianapolis. That's where I grew up. Actually, I grew up north of here a little bit, but out of college, my first job was I got recruited to kind of be like a bookkeeper of this little company, and they were on BusinessWorks, and they're like, hey, we're implementing this great new shiny product called Great Plains. Microsoft just bought them, and it's gonna just be awesome for our business. There's a powerful tool called FRX, and so I started off as an end user of GP, and after a couple of years, I got recruited into getting into consulting because people were looking for consultants, and I worked a company up in Chicago called the Revere Group. And at first I was kind of like, what is this? Like, going to implement this GP thing? Like, that sounds boring. And I took the job. I'm not sure why I took the job, but then I quickly realized, like, this is a lot of fun. Like, all these clients are totally different. And then if you had a bad project, you would, there'd be another one starting in 6 months, and everyone had their own, business requirements. I really learned a lot about business, just how these people made their money and what they were doing. And it was very fascinating. So.
Did you drink any beer on your off time?
I did. Yeah. My favorite beer is cold beer, minus like Stroh's and like ice beer and like weird stuff like that, or malt and ice beer.
Hams
Yeah.
or old style, like you stay away from those types of things.
Actually, I like old style. It's just like it's the ice beer, like Mickey's and stuff that you got to stay away from.
I haven't heard that in a long time, Mickey's.
Yeah.
I used to feel the same way, right? Any beer that was cold was pretty decent, but now that Ken and I have been drinking all these different beers, my opinion has changed.
Yeah. Michael was a true domestic Pilsner guy, converted to now a craft beer connoisseur.
Yeah. To a point.
I can start the night off with a couple of those, but if you're, I'm a Colts fan, so if I go down to a game, it's like, it's a long day. I can start off with one of those, get going, then it's going to be a Bud Light day.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. It depends what you're doing, right? If you're only 1 or 2 beers, craft beer is good. Otherwise, I'm a Miller Lite, preference, but I get what you're saying. Absolutely. Yeah. So how'd you get into, how did you get involved and launch or get going with iSolutions?
Yeah. So I, when I got into consulting, I was working in Chicago, where you guys are, and it was just a lot of fun. And, I grew up in Indiana, then eventually I was kind of like, either I'm going to have to move out to the suburbs, like an hour away, or, Indianapolis is not that far away. Maybe. So I just kind of eventually moved back here, kind of like when I got closer to 30. And then I was working for a large kind of regional CPA firm that was doing a little bit of dynamics. And then when the banks collapsed, they let everyone go but me, because I could like do the implementations. I was starting to learn how to sell. I could do the billing. And, I just totally got burnt out. And I just like threw my hands up after 6 months. And I didn't really plan to start a business. I went to go work for a couple customers on contract, for that first year. Then my name kind of got out there in the community, and they're like, oh, could you help us? The next thing I know, I was like, hey, if I pick up a couple more customers, I don't have to go work for anyone ever again. And then, we got up to a decent size, then, hired some people, and then probably about 3 years ago, we started doing GP upgrades, and on the homepage, it started becoming an advertisement for Business Central. We'd log in after the upgrade and be like, hey, Business Central. I'm like, hey, I need to, because for a long time it was kind of like GP is the best, NAV is for like, weird food manufacturing companies, and the GP is awesome. Then when I first logged into BC, I was like, this just looks weird. And then now when I log into Great Plains, I'm like, holy cow, this thing's a dinosaur. It's so old.
It's funny how that happens, right?
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. I'm definitely converted over to BC, but we started the app for kind of was like, hey, BC is the future. If I try to live off Great Plains, like I'm gonna get dusted. So I was like, I don't want to be a BC partner or anything like that. I just maybe create a little app. And so the app started off really small about 2.5 years ago. And then it started off just like doing some credit cards on sales orders, like a pre-op capture. And then the first few months we just got, I got dusted on demos where people are like, hey, where's this, where's that? And, then we just really poured the coals to it with the development. And, in the last year, it's just like blown up. And, we met a lot of cool partners like you guys and people along the way. And probably like the big differentiator with our app is we add a lot with collections. Like we added auto email. You post an invoice, it automatically emails. We had collection reminders. We have our own way of doing deposits on sales orders. You can even do cash deposits or check deposits. So we really took it like really further than just credit cards. So it's been fun.
See, Michael, so at the beginning, I did a teaser for everyone, and I said we're going to talk to Ryan from iSolutions. It's called Credit Card Management Plus.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm not going to tell you what the plus is. You're going to have to wait and see. But it's all these credit and collections and automation things that go into it, and the deposits on sales orders. Right? That in itself is a huge feature. Right? And that's just one piece of it.
Yep.
Do you see the app going further with more and more enhancements and more things being added to it, or?
Yeah, I do. I think kind of like the next thing I think we're gonna do is we get some customers be like they want reoccurring invoices, and there's that kind of like reoccurring line thing in BC. It's kind of like half baked, and I think people want like a reoccurring invoice that runs once a month and also to run the credit card or the ACH. Because there's one group out there, they have one half of it, but they don't have the payment piece. And like, think about it, like, does Netflix send you a bill and then you pay it? No, like for your gym, it's they typically run your credit card and then they run your receipt, So I think the recurring invoice thing, the challenge will be the deferred revenue. So it'd be probably pretty easy to just keep running invoices with job queues, but to make all the deferred revenue entries, that's going to be a little bit of work. So probably next year.
Well, there are deferral codes, which may be helpful in that regard. If you can embed the deferral codes in there, maybe.
Yeah, if we could leverage some of the out of the box stuff, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Make life a little bit easier.
Yeah, absolutely. So how does it work? I'm sure, people have, a lot of different thoughts on credit card processing, and maybe they love their processor, or they think they've got the greatest negotiated rates in the world with their current processor. Can you talk a little bit about how that works with iSolutions?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so there's in terms of all that, like if someone's really in love with their credit card processor, then they could, look at just building something custom. But if someone's getting some great deal, we'll just simply just match it. But I don't think we've really ran across an opportunity where someone's getting this great deal like they think they are. Usually they think they are, but then they're really not.
That's right.
Usually just the simple thing, what I do is I always take their total fees divided by their total net sales, and that gives me their effective rate. And it should be at least, under 3%. And a lot of times it's always like, well over 3. And then kind of like our other solutions in the market, we have what we call level 2, level 3 processing, where we pass all this additional data over. And then it results in lower fees from the card brands. And to be honest, the lion's share, all the money goes to Visa, MasterCard, Amex, and there's a small little markup that the processor makes. Then they give us a little kicker on it. So
yeah, and I think that seems to be the common theme, and I can see that from a development standpoint, where right, to try to create a credit card app, and there's some in the past that did this for Dynamics NAV, right, to try to fit your solution with 50 different processors, or however many processors are on. Say we can work with anyone. That's tough. Right?
Yeah, it's kind of an impossible model, and kind of my thinking too. Just to be honest, I'm like, why am I going to do all this work if Chase Payments is going to make the money and I'm doing all the labor? Like, it's just not worth our time. If you love Chase or Wells Fargo, then do everything manually outside the system and have it. Best of luck.
Yep, makes sense.
So if people are interested in learning more about what you do, where can they find you on the internet? Are you active on social media and things like that?
Yeah, we're on LinkedIn. We have a YouTube channel. If you go to our website, isolutionspayments.com or isolutionsgroup.com, we're on there. Then there's a learn section. We're in the Microsoft App Store. If you just type in credit card on the App Store, we'll show up on there, and you should read about us. And
right on the top of the list.
Nice, is it?
I typed credit card and it was the first one on the list. Yeah.
Nice. Got our SEO kicking in there.
Figured out the algorithm. Teach me.
Yeah.
Free trial, 5.0, 5 out of 5 rating.
Nice.
Very nice.
One of the very few who has a rating then, I guess, right? Not too many apps have ratings.
Yeah.
I guess one more question, I guess, before we move on, I guess. So we know the app's available on app stores, but is your product only offered for BC Online, or is it BC on-prem as well? Or is there any versions for Nav?
Yeah, good question. So we started our app on the ground up with BC 15, which the pro to that was we had a clean slate. The code was all fresh, where some of our competitors had like code cobbled from the NAV. The only downside is if someone's like, hey, I'm running Nav 2012 or something, we just can't do it. In terms of BC on-premise, we can. It seems like some of those BC on-premise environments get, it's kind of complicated sometimes. Honestly, it's just a big pain in the ass, and I prefer just doing the SaaS stuff.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, and how about so a couple more at you here. How about if a customer was out there and they're running BC Online, generally are they going to be able to download the free trial, get everything set up, and get this app deployed? Or most cases, do you see a Business Central user is engaging with their partner to kind of help coordinate the deployment of it?
Yeah, good question. So when we started, I first created the app, I remember calling like maybe you guys or people and like, hey, I got this app, work with me. Then you guys get hit up like there's hundreds of apps and ISVs. And I was like, you know what? It's just going to take time to build those relationships. And kind of what happened was, people would find us directly. And then maybe then I'd be like, hey, Ken, Michael, one of your clients found us. Then then from there, you'd be more inclined to talk to me. And that's always how we prefer to do things with partners because, they've got access to the environment and, then we want them to learn our app and stuff like that. We actually have a lot of partners right now that are implementing our app internally. So if there's a partner, it's free use for internal usage.
Yeah. Okay. And I don't know about if you have, if pricing is something that you are able to share here, or if that's something that maybe it gets a little more complicated and it's best to reach out to your partner or contact you guys directly.
Yeah, it's typically about $150 a month for the software, and then we charge a one-time setup fee of $1,500 for training and setup and all that good stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
And then sometimes we do have companies that have it does get a little more complicated, and where it gets complicated is like if someone has like point of sale in different locations or different BC companies, then then we have to kind of be a little more of a custom quote.
You know what I love about it, right? When we talk to most ISVs, it's obviously the pricing, all it's specific to the customer, this and that. Yours, you gave the price straight, simple. I love that, right? That's the whole premise of me of adding apps and extensions to some sort of software.
Yeah.
You know what it is, you're getting what you pay for, and that's it.
Oh, you mean like other people like charge based on users?
Well, yeah, when they're not going to say it's 150 a month or and the setup fee is whatever they say. Well, it depends on the customer, and talk to the partner. We'll talk to them. We'll work it out.
It could be how many transactions you process a month,
Yeah, whatever.
how many users you have, what version you're running. I mean, there's and that's part of our on this podcast. One of our recurring gripe themes that we touch on is the kind of the Wild West nature of app source.
It is
the Wild West. I love it.
It's there's like about 20 different licensing models out there, right?
Yeah, it is. And I don't know what you guys find with your customers, but customers can kind of do their own research and find me, which has been good because then, I've had some big bars where I try to get in the door, then their customers found me, then I went back and they're like, oh yeah, we'll work with you now.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, any more questions from you, or can we jump into the speed round section?
Yeah, speed round it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
With the speed round. So these are mostly yes or no answers. If you want to go into a little bit of detail, feel free, but we try to keep it quick and simple. All right. Number one, it's currently a cloud-first software kind of a world. Will on-premise software ever rebound and be the more dominant software choice?
Say no way.
Good answer. You prefer cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Is the Business Central app currently installed on your phone?
The BC app is, but I don't know if I can get to my app through that app though, if that's what you mean.
Nice. Honest.
We can edit that out. Don't worry.
Yeah, it looks cool when it's on there. I'm like, hey, I got BC here, but I don't think it really connects to like the environment I'm playing with every day. It's like something else.
Yeah. Have you ever had a nightmare pertaining to software?
No, but I might soon. With all these automatic updates and things that Microsoft's doing right now. We get like, I think there were some outages today. Then we get emails like there might be an update. Someone walks in tomorrow, and then who knows?
It's not working. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
All right. And last but definitely not least, in the future, do you envision that credit card processing will be more streamlined than it is today? If so, how?
I don't know about more streamlined. I think with our app, it makes it pretty streamlined, but I think changes, in the future, I think really where the market's going is something called cash discounting, where people are like, hey, you know what? I'm tired of taking credit card fees. And our app actually does this. You can say, hey, I'm going to charge you 3% if you pay me with credit card, but if you do an ACH, there's no fee. That's really where the market's going. And you can see like little retailers around town doing that now, cash discounting, surcharging. And then also I kind of have my pulse on cryptocurrency. My wife was actually talking today. It's like, Ryan, you need to stay on, be on top of that and see what people are doing.
Did you
maybe
have
maybe in 5 years or something, who knows?
maybe sooner? Did you see that Crypto.com, I think it is, bought the naming rights for the Staples Center in Los Angeles, the iconic Staples Center? You see it?
No.
Now Crypto.com, which I was like, wow, they're making a push fast.
Is there a Crypto.com bowl
Yeah.
football game?
Probably soon,
Maybe.
right?
Maybe at the Indianapolis Dome there.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely something to stay on.
Well, that's good. We need a crypto source.
Yeah.
So that'll be good if you're staying on that ball.
Yeah, I just need to figure out how it works. Like it's still like a mystery. It seems like this like too good to be true type thing, and people are like, "Oh, invested in it," and the people I see on Facebook talking about it, I'm like, you're not like a trustworthy person like I think.
You gotta wait till it gets regulated, right?
Yeah.
It's gotta get regulated for it.
I'm still waiting for someone to explain, to be able to explain clearly how you mine for crypto, how you
Right.
mine for Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
Just if you can explain that to me clearly. Oh, well, you just do transactions and you earn Bitcoins. Wait, what are you doing?
It's the metaverse, Ken.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, good times.
Just trust them. It's just there. Just
Yeah,
trust
don't
them.
worry about it. It's just currency. All right. Well, Ryan, we definitely appreciate you taking the time to join us today. I have no more questions. Ken?
Yeah, no, thank
Ryan?
you. Yeah, thank you again. It's great learning about your solution and talking credit cards. I know it's, again, the automated payment system and the use of credit cards. I don't know, the number of percentage of transactions that get paid through credit cards has had to skyrocket over the last 5 years, right?
Well,
I mean,
look at the pandemic,
yeah.
right?
So
Everything's bought online.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Well,
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan.
As we end today's podcast, we want to give a big thank you to everyone who listens, shares this podcast, and leaves us reviews. You've taken a good amount of your time out of your day, and we truly appreciate it. Thanks again. And don't be afraid to email us at marketing@solsyst.com with your tips for the podcast, or maybe you'd even like to be a guest during an episode.